in real life. I mean, it's bizarre. It's very bizarre when you have a culture, and you do have this culture where it's actually feasible and it's actually plausible that a man would actually be satisfied with a robot girlfriend, an inanimate doll instead of a living, breathing woman. But see, you approach relationships in a very rigidly, very narrow, utilitarian manner, the same way you approach everything else. And what you actually want from a partner includes doesn't include anything that an object can't provide for you. Actual humans are too complicated. They're too demanding. They're too much of a cost in terms of time and effort, right? And money. So, see, your ideal situation is obligation-free use. That's a predatory mindset. That's the same reason why you have a pedophilia problem in the West. That's why you prey on children. Because of their helplessness. Because of their helplessness. That makes them almost the same as an inanimate object to you. So you can use them without any responsibility, without any respect, without any commitment, without any decency, without any consequences. And that's what you want. You're not actually attracted to them because they're children. You're attracted to them because they're powerless. You're attracted to them because they're helpless. See, what you're actually attracted to is the whole dynamic in which you have total power and you have total impunity. Nothing is more attractive to you than that. Nothing is more attractive to you than powerlessness and vulnerability of someone else. That's a predator. Always looking for the weak one, always looking for the small one, always looking for the sickly one, always looking for the one that wandered away from the herd. That's a predatory animal. That's predatory animal thinking. And your materialism is a function of the same thing. Your materialism, this primitive mentality, this unevolved cultural psyche that you have, so-called white people. And when I say materialism, I'm not just talking about the love of money. I'm not talking about that definition of materialism, the accumulation of possessions and so forth. That's a part of it, but that's not the only thing that I'm talking about. I'm talking about something that's deeper, something that's more fundamental about the way that you even process information. I'm talking about materialism as a way of knowing, a way of understanding, as the assumption that is embedded so deeply that it functions as an axiom. This assumption that whatever is, that the only thing that is real is what is tangible, measurable, quantifiable, and immediately verifiable by your senses. Empiricism, say. Whatever I can touch, taste, see, smell, hear. Nothing else matters, nothing else is real. Only this is what reality is. See, this produces a very specific kind of blindness. Things that exist but cannot be immediately measured, like moral consequences, like spiritual reality, like long-term causation, like the internal states of other people, that all registers as just vague, soft, uncertain, ambiguous, dubious, maybe not even real, but ultimately, no matter what it is, it's ultimately not important when you're an empiricist, when you're a materialist. Things that can be measured, money, status, physical force, immediate outcomes, that registers as hard, concrete, actionable reality, the only reality that exists. So morality inside this framework isn't a real force in the world to you. It's a social construct, and that's what anyone in the West will tell you. That's what any white person in the West will tell you, so-called white person. Morality is a social construct. It's just a narrative tool that's used by the weak to try to constrain the strong, or by the strong or by the powerful to justify whatever they were going to do anyway, create a moral justification. You don't understand it as something that operates independently of human opinion, that carries its own weight in the world, in the structure of reality itself, that produces consequences whether or not anyone does anything about it, whether or not anyone facilitates the consequences or not. For the materialist, morality is just performance. It's just decorative, like I've said, or a tool for managing society. Nothing is actually good, nothing is actually bad, objectively, in their mind. Morality is relative, which is the same thing as being amoral. Moral relativism is the same thing as being amoral, and amoral is the same thing as being immoral. And the real irony of all of this is that, in fact, the moral structure of reality, the moral structure of the universe, is in fact the most verifiable thing about reality. History is nothing but a demonstration of moral causation. Every empire that was ever built on injustice and immorality eventually collapsed under the weight of its own wickedness. That's a fact. Every community that made exploitation, every state, every society that made exploitation the basis for their prosperity, eventually ran out of things to exploit and they turned inward, which is exactly what's happening to you now.